Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dale Stonick, Director of Safety here at ACE Doran. Today with me is Jason O'Brien. Jason, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Good afternoon, drivers. Let's get this call started, Dale.
Thank you. All right. We'll go ahead and cover our metrics to see how we're doing as a group. On our CSA scores for the BME ACE side, unsafe driving went up 4 percentage points to 45%. We were on a string of going down. So far this month, it looks like between us and BME drivers, we've had 8 unsafe violations. We do have a couple of violations that we've contributed to that also. It looks like we do have an opportunity to maybe have that go down because we have quite a more violations falling off, but we definitely need to watch our speed and traffic control devices. Hours of service, we did go down 1 percentage point to 82%. That's good. Driver fitness, up 2 points to 40, no change, actually no score in controlled alcohol and controlled substances and alcohol. Vehicle maintenance, no change, also still at 84%. I did look at the number of violations that we did get for the month of January. It is considerably less, so there is a good chance here at the end of the month that we can get that score to start moving down lower, which is great. Hazmat, no change, crash indicator up 18 percentage points to 51%. On the government win side of the house, our unsafe driving is at 4%. That is tremendous. Keep up the good work, everybody. Hours of service, no score, though I do know we did have a violation this month, so we will have a score next month. Driver fitness, no score. That's great, too. Controlled substance and alcohol, no score. Vehicle maintenance is up 4 percentage points. We are now at 58%. That's the highest it's been in a long time. I just looked at our score from a year ago. It was only at 35 percentage points, so we are definitely going up. We really have to focus on our tires and lights. They make up all but one of the top 10 violations in this category. So anytime that we are stopped, we need to take the opportunity to make sure all the lights are working and our tires are fully inflated and they have enough tread depth. That's what it's going to take to be able to get our score back down, going in the right direction. We need to be mindful. We can't continue at this trend of continuing having our score go up. All right. Next, I just want to talk a little bit about accidents. So far, getting off to this year, having a little bit of issues with hitting stationary items. In the last 2 days, we've hit 2 cars at shippers while backing. I don't feel like I need to remind you all the time, but we definitely need to get out and look at least once to make sure it's clear when we're backing. And same holds true with some of our oversized loads. We've had some issues on our wind side where we're striking either signs. We did have a bridge hit a couple of days ago, so we just want to make sure that we are mindful of what's around us, use our escorts to look for these stationary items, and that we're not striking them. Just remind everybody, a *3 if you have a comment or suggestion on that. I do want to go over our clean inspections. We had quite a few clean inspections here in the last 30 days. So let's go ahead. Eladio Martinez had a clean inspection out of Louisiana. Matthew Sutherland from Arkansas had a clean inspection from Arkansas. Barry Daniel got a clean one in Ohio. Aldrin Miller got clean in Arizona. Frederick Boppler had a clean inspection from Indiana. Kenny Smith and Connie Coleman, both out of Ohio, clean inspections. Wayne Finstead going through Mississippi had a clean. John Baxter Jr., Texas. Tyler Long, Kentucky. And Don Laymiller, John Leroy, and Ronald Chucky all had clean Ohio inspections. And government team, Nancy Truitt, she had a clean inspection from Arkansas. So going to congratulate everyone on those clean inspections, and we will draw for our Yeti here a little bit later in the program.
Yeah, thank you for that, drivers.
All right. Let's see here. Just want to remind everyone, too, that we are planning on starting our renewals for cab cards or IRP plates. We want to get it done early. We're going to start next month. So please, if you don't have your 2290s in, please get them in to Lori. We plan on starting that next week. If we don't have them, we will proceed without you. Jason, did you want to talk a little bit about logs today?
Well, yes, Dale. There are a couple things going on in the hours of service logs world that I would love to talk about. Taking a look at some of the logs that I've seen from drivers and some of the reports that are coming in, especially with us being over the category in hours of service, as Dale mentioned earlier, at 84%. Obviously, it's just been getting higher and higher since the e-logs have kind of gone in. And I think there's sometimes on an e-log where a driver might feel like everything's kind of taken care of for him and that there's not as many things to do as there are on a paper log. And for the vast majority, that's true. There is less to do because some things populate for you. But depending upon what type of log you're on, so say if you're on Keep Trucking or Rand McNally, something that should change, every time you're on a different trip, or even if you're empty, you'd want to make sure that you're changing your shipping document number to have that either be the bill of lading or the pro number that's on your loads. You'd want to make sure that that's updated each time you're on a different load. So say like in Keep Trucking or Rand McNally for that matter, once you type in your shipping document number, it'll stay the same day after day unless you change it. And it might not sound like a major deal, but it is a form and manner violation, and we've been seeing drivers getting dinged for that. The only way, of course, to make sure that you don't get dinged for that is to make sure that you do keep up with it each day and get that shipping document number changed. So on the Rand McNally, it pops up every day at the beginning of your shift and asks you, is this the proper information? And then you hit continue, so just make sure that it is. And then on Keep Trucking, go ahead and hit your log for that day, and then hit the form button, and just make sure that your shipping document number is correct in there. On some drivers, not only are they only forgetting to do it, but they're typing in like 1, 2, 3, 4, which is what they did when it was set up, and they just did it to like test it out, and they've forgotten to change it for a long time, and that'll definitely get you some violations. And if an officer sees something like that for 7 days on your log, you're not going to get just one form and manner violation. You'll get 7, one for every day, maybe even 8 if he counts the one for today. So it's important to make sure that gets changed. Moving on to taking your breaks like as they happen. We have where drivers are going ahead and taking a break, but they don't do it until the end of the day or the next day, where they kind of like try to figure out, I was on duty here for a half hour, I'll make that my break. If you, of course, would get stopped in between when you do that, it's going to be a violation for not taking your break. So the only way, of course, to prevent that from happening is to take them when they happen. Plan for that 30 minutes so you can get your rest in before taking back off and prevent those violations. Another thing that seems to be happening is people are going over their 11 hours for driving. A lot of times people will cite traffic as the reason for that. Unfortunately, traffic, like regular traffic that you encounter every day, isn't considered an adverse condition. You'd want to make sure that you do plan accordingly. And if you encounter traffic, especially like on the East Coast, try to have several different places you can stop, to whereas if you're running out of time, you can do that and not go over on your hours. Another thing that I've kind of been seeing recently, maybe over just the past couple weeks, is where a driver gets to the end of their 14-hour, and then after they go over their 14-hour, or sometimes this happens with the 11-hour too, they'll go over their 11-hour by maybe like 1 minute or 2 minutes. Well, then they stop. They'll go ahead and put themselves in personal conveyance and then drive for like another half an hour or 45 minutes maybe to the truck stop that they want to go to. Or they'll go over their 14-hour by a couple minutes and then do that same thing. With how that works on a roadside inspection, it's going to show the officer, if you do something like that, 2 separate violations. So if for some reason you are going over your time and it's inevitable, it's just going to happen, you don't want to switch to personal conveyance, because now you're using personal conveyance in a way that's not approved through the guidance section of the regulations, and you went over your time as well. So that's 2 separate violations. Of course, if you just go over your time, it was inevitable, it had to happen for whatever reason, that would just be 1 violation. So don't make it worse than it has to be, I guess, in that situation. So continuing on with one other thing, we had a lot of drivers when Dale was out doing some safety meetings last week. They were talking about the FMCSA and how do you upload your logs to the FMCSA. And For Keep Trucking, it's pretty much the same. The officer is going to give you an input number, is kind of what they call it. It's going to be his personal number. You can either upload the logs to the FMCSA or send them an email. And what you would do is in the top left, you would hit your menu button, and then it'll say DOT inspection. It's the second choice down on that list. And when you do that, it'll still give you your other options, where if they'd rather view your e-logs by a fax or an email, that's there. They can view your logs on your device still. That's still an option. Or they can have you send it to the FMCSA, and that's what the new choice would be. So those are the three different buttons you could hit once you're in there. If they do choose to have you upload them to the FMCSA, you just simply click that as your choice. That'll take you into another screen, which on the top it's going to say email on the right, and it'll say FMCSA on the left. You just go ahead and type in the number that the officer gives you and hit upload files, and that will send them to the officer. After putting it through their software, he'll get them, and it'll point out what violations it discovered. So things like having the same shipping document number every day, or going over on your 11 and 14 and going to personal conveyance and stuff like that. It kind of points all those things out. If you've made any edits to your log, I'm sure you see now you have to type in more of a description. It has to be at least 4 characters before it'll accept the notes on an edit. But all that stuff shows up as well. So that's how you would do it there as far as uploading the FMCSA. Pretty similar to the old process. Not a lot has really changed.
Is it different for the Ram McNally then?
No, the Ram McNally, you go to your options tab, and then you click on, because I haven't done Ram McNally in a long time. I think it just says inspection, and then when you do that, it'll bring up the option to do so.
Okay.
But it's on the options tab, and then once you see it, you'll see the proper choice. I just can't remember what it actually or literally says there for the option. I think it's inspection, or it might say roadside inspection. But when you click on that, it'll give you the option to upload them to the FMCSA or view on the device or email.
All right, cool. Yeah, there were some questions when I was doing meetings last week on how do you upload if the officer requests, because obviously if they do request that, you will have to comply with that. Since we're all on true ELDs now, and we no longer have the AOBRD mode, so we'll have to comply.
Well, yeah, and I did want to mention *3 for any questions or comments on anything on the call today, or if you have any safety tips for our drivers throughout the winter months here. All that feedback's appreciated for sure.
Okay. A couple other house cleaning tips. We do have a lot of annual inspections that are due here the next probably 2 months. Just want to remind everybody, when it comes to your annuals, please make sure that the name of the shop is on there, their address, phone number. Check the VIN and or license plates that they are correct. On the VIN, we only need the last 6. Double check the inspectors. We see a lot of times where there's errors coming across on these inspections, and they can't be accepted. They have to go back and get corrected. It causes a lot of rework, and it slows down the process and creates frustration. We want to minimize that and eliminate that. The other thing that you need to check on is make sure they have the correct unit number for your truck and trailer. So double check your trailer especially. If you need to know what it is, you can call in, but a lot of times I'm seeing where trailer numbers are abbreviated and they're missing all of the proper letters on it. So need to have that in order to make sure it's right. The other thing that I would want to mention is a little bit on our camera program. We are continuing our camera giveaway this year. Last year we ended up with, what was the percentage we had, Jason? 75.5% or? In
December it was 75.34%. Our goal was 75%, so we just made it there by a hair. Now we're actually at 77%.
Oh, that's good. The goal for this year is to have at least 90% of our owner-operators use the camera system. It's an invaluable tool. We just had an event last month in December where we had a motorist. She was continually trying to get in front of our driver, getting right in the last second, and ended up having an accident. The officer there asked for the dash cam footage. We were able to provide that to him, and I believe she was issued a citation, if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah, she was weaving in and out of traffic, kind of, but it was, about 2 minutes of footage before the actual accident where she pulled into our driver, where, she really established the case against herself. But there was, I think, a couple issues with her. I don't think she had insurance.
Oh, yeah, or maybe the license was suspended, or...
Yeah, so there was a lot of issues actually going on there. But still, in those situations, if we don't have the proof of the video, and it's a sideswipe accident, kind of how this was, it's really hard for us to prove anything without that video, so it's always good to have it.
Yep, it's absolute. It's an accurate account of the situation, so very invaluable. So we're going to continue with that program this year and shoot for the goal of having 90% completion. The other thing that I would like to mention is we do have scheduled safety meetings coming up this quarter for the month of February. We will be meeting in the Cleveland area. I think it's technically Independence, Ohio, at the Holiday Inn on February the 22nd. We'll start with breakfast at 8:30. On the 29th, we have one here in the Cincinnati area at Mason at the Great Wolf Lodge. Same start time, 8:30. Breakfast, start the meeting at 9. And then we have some more set up for the month of March, and then I'll get a couple more added for April. So once again, if we have anyone questions or wants to make a suggestion, *3. Look forward to hearing from you. We do have a couple of things here. I want to mention that some of you know that we have the ownership of the company has a program going on where they're giving away a Ford F-150 during driver appreciation this year. So this contest started, I think, at the end of last summer. Mm-hmm. And the way it works is if you get a clean roadside inspection, you get 5 points for that. In-person safety meetings, you get 3 points. Online safety meetings, 1 point. And if you don't get any DOT violations for a month, you get 1 point for that too. The only way you lose points is if you get a roadside inspection with violations. The number of points coming off that violation will come off of your total. So the top 10, there are a couple of ace drivers. I just want to point them out. Adolf Meter, he is in a 4-way tie here for 3rd place, so congratulations to Bud. And then it looks like Wayne Finstadt is coming in there, listed as 9th, but it looks like there's a 2-way tie for that. And then Fred Boppler is right behind him. So let's just keep up those inspections and in-person safety meetings. See if we can get some ace drivers to finish in the top 5. That would be pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I do want to point out, not only are they giving away the truck, but there's actually 20 prizes. So the top 20 drivers are getting something. So if you're in the 1st place, of course, you do get that truck. In 2nd place, you get a Brunner headache rack. And then from 3rd place to 20th place, you get a prize that's to be determined. So I'm sure it's going to be exciting for whatever that is. But yeah, it's not just the truck for the 1st place. But that is exciting to see those drivers on that list of the top 10 there. That's good news.
Yep, that is good. So let's go ahead and we will draw for our drivers with clean inspections. We will draw for the Yeti. Jason, if you want to do the honor here.
Let's go with...
there's 2.
Shoot, I got 2 that stuck.
All right.
Let's see, we'll go with this one here.
Okay.
Matthew Sutherland.
Matthew Sutherland. All right. Congratulations to Matthew. We will get that out into the mail to you on getting your, was it a black or red Yeti now?
They are black.
They're black.
It's a Yeti.
I know, we're just going to leave it at that.
The end.
All right. Well, I do not have any additional comments to make. Looks like no one has dialed in, so do you have one more you wanted to?
Yeah, I just wanted another topic, and I'm sure a lot of you guys kind of have already heard about this and know what's going on. But a lot of inspections are coming due here in January, the 1st quarter of the year. And with that being said,
go ahead.
There are some new things that Bennett's kind of requiring on those inspections. And I just want to make sure that you guys have them filled out the first time when you send them in. And the reason is because if Bennett kicks it back, that's just a frustration for you. It's more time that you have to spend on it. But the things that they're changing aren't necessarily huge things, but they do want to have the name of the shop on there, the address for the shop, so their physical location, and then the phone number. And that wasn't always on the old inspection forms. We do have a new inspection form that has those fields. So if you need one of those, you give us a call. We can email you the PDF. You can just print one up and use that one instead. It's a better guide than the old inspection. And then some of the 90-day maintenance forms, you can still do it online. I know there was a couple issues with that originally. I kind of helped some drivers through it, and taking a look at the website, I think what I've noticed is that if for some reason like a field gets missed, you might not complete all the fields or something like that, and you hit submit, it looks like it kind of took it. It doesn't give you a message all the time saying that it didn't take it. The important thing is after you hit that submit button and you click to verify it and you hit submit, if you go back to the top of the page, it'll tell you whether it was submitted successfully or not. It'll say your truck number was submitted successfully, or it'll say your trailer number was submitted successfully. So make sure you see that message if you do it online. Otherwise, if you're doing them like on paper and rather send them through Drive Axle, there's also a form for that. That's a little bit newer that we can send, one for your truck and one for your trailer as well. So just make sure they're, of course, filled out completely and their entirety, and that all the information is correct. Lately, we've had, I guess, a bunch of VIN numbers that have been wrong, or say, like, if your trailer number is F1234AACE, the driver or the inspection site just might put F1234, and you want to make sure that AACE is on there as well, the full trailer number. Otherwise, they're kicking those back, and then we have to get them back to the inspection site, have them edit it, and then send it back in. It's a long and lengthy process that I'm sure you guys don't want to have to deal with. So if they're correct the first time, it saves everybody a lot of time.
Yep. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah,
we did have a couple people jump on the line. Terry. Danny, how are you?
Okay. I got a question.
Comment or go ahead.
Well, it's a question. Last Saturday, I was out there in Arizona and got an air leak fixed, and I sat there about an hour and a half waiting for them to answer that e-shop. Why does the owner-operator have to go through that e-shop when we're paying the bill ourselves?
That I don't know. If it's your equipment, I wouldn't know. Is there a discount or something to go with the e-shop?
No, that's the way TA set up. All Bennett and Ace equipment has to go through that e-shop, she says.
I'll ask somebody.
I told her,
Yeah,
because
I'll ask
I
somebody.
lost an hour and a half sitting there just trying to pay the bill, you see.
I'll ask somebody. Yeah, I understand. We had a driver just the other night with the same thing. He went and got an inspection, but they had some work done, and evidently she combined the bill, and they were waiting for someone to reset the bill up so that they'd split it, and he waited an hour and was ready to go. I'll ask why everyone has to go through the e-shop. I'm not as familiar with that process, but good question. I'll get you the answer, okay?
Okay, I appreciate it, because finally she just gave me the work order number and then told me to go to the next TA and get them to print it out, So fortunately I was going on into L.A., and then I got them to print the receipt out for me,
Okay.
But it is kind of aggravating,
Yeah, I agree, because like I said, I'm not sure who monitors that e-shop continuously, because I know you guys are obviously different time zones and all that.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. Thank you, Danny.
Just
bye-bye. Looks like we have Rodney Cardener. Rodney, how are you?
Pretty good.
Question
Just
or
fighting the flu.
Oh,
well,
yikes.
tip is when you go in to get your truck work done at a TA, a pilot or whatever, just tell them don't run it through eShop. Tell them that you're going to pay for it. Don't even touch eShop, because then it'll tie you up.
Okay.
And a person to talk to about eShop is Chad.
Chad? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I do know, obviously, if it's a company equipment, it has to be run through that because someone has to sign off on a company asset repair. But, to Danny's point, if it's your own equipment, I mean, you're paying for it, so it's obviously yours.
They'll authorize like an oil change for owner operator, and then I just have them take it out in 2 payments out of my maintenance account. Or out of my paycheck, either way. But that's the only thing I ever really use it for.
Gotcha.
But
It's good
yeah,
to know.
just tell them you don't want to run it through eShop. You just want to pay for it yourself.
Okay, good advice.
And what's this?
Thank you, Rodney. Oh, go ahead. Oh, did you lose him? Yeah. Sorry. All right. Looks like we have Jim Lofton next. Jim, how are you?
Doing good, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was curious,
You have
where was it that we hit that bridge at? And where we on our route? Where we sighted? How'd that come out?
We were on our route, and it was Martin, Tennessee.
It was Martin, Tennessee?
Yep.
Okay.
So we were, I don't think we did any damage to this bridge, Jim. We just, I don't know what the exact bridge height was, but we just scraped underneath of it and then scraped the tube.
Yeah. We were, it was a wind tower? We were loaded with a wind tower?
Yep.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Just a good reminder that everyone should measure the height of their loads at all time and just never assume, we're good.
Exactly. So, there wasn't a problem with the bridge height. The problem was our load wasn't measured correctly.
Yeah, we were probably about an inch too tall, which obviously probably more than that. We should have been. I think you guys typically run it like at 15.6 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing we were probably 16 or so.
Okay. Well, it's good to know.
But, it is. We definitely don't. I mean, last year we had 2 bridge strikes. We obviously can't continue that trend.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
well, I appreciate you talking for sure, and I just was trying to find out, where it happened at and everything, so I know to be on watch.
Yep.
All right, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Jim. All right. Looks like we don't have anyone else in queue, so we'll go ahead and just wrap this up. Just want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. We got another one coming, Pat? Nope. Okay. So we just want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon. And just remind everybody, safety meetings in February in Cleveland and in the Cincinnati area. And then just make sure when it comes to your annual inspections that you're just looking over the document, trailer numbers right, VIN numbers right. We have the shop information, including their name, address, phone number. That way, when we get those documents in, we can process them really quickly, and we don't have any reworks to do, and it just adds to frustration. We want to eliminate that and make it easy for everyone. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, drivers. You have a great day wherever you're at. We'll see you next time.
Bye.